Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how I automated the operations for a real estate agency using AI agents without writing a single line of code. And I can honestly say it's definitely one of my favorite builds so far. Now you might be thinking, why bother in the first place? And it's because this system actually takes care of the entire process. It gets rid of those repetitive tasks so they can focus on the important parts of their business, like closing deals, speaking to customers, and selling. This solution consists of 5 AI agents working together. It's able to send recommendations for houses. It's also able to book viewings for the properties as well. It also is able to do call-ins just to check if people are still attending those viewings, and it can handle social media posts. And on top of all that, we also have an automation to handle all of the documentation after the sale has been done. And it's gone well. The client has seen dramatic improvements to their efficiency. They're saving several hours a week, and it's also helping to increase their turnover rate. In this video, I'll give you a full demo breakdown so you can see how the system works, and you'll also know how to build your own as well. And if you're interested in working with me so you can adopt AI solutions within your business, you can book a free discovery call with a link in the description below. All right, let me show you how it all works. So for this setup, I'm going to be using Relevance AI to make the AI agents. If you haven't heard of Relevance AI, it's a no-code platform that allows you to build AI agents. If this is your first time seeing it, I also have a beginner's tutorial, which you could definitely follow. I'll leave that in the description, or I should have it pop up somewhere as well. I'm also going to be using make.com. If you haven't heard of make.com, it's a automated workflow tool, and we're going to use make.com for some of the integrations that Relevance AI doesn't have. And then lastly, we're also going to use Airtable to just store some of the data. So in this case, I'm using Airtable to store data about the houses that a real estate agency has as well. But here is the general setup for the real estate flow. So at the top, I have a real estate agency manager, and it has a few jobs. Its main job is to kind of oversee the whole process and also to delegate some of the work that it's getting as well. I've also armed it with a few of its own tools. So it has the ability to send and respond to emails. So these are customer emails that are coming in. Hey, have you got any 3-bedroom houses? And then it's responding to those emails. It's also got the ability to update the Hubspot CRM that I've also connected it to as well. So once a client has booked in a booking, it's able to put the date and time and then go from there. I've also given it the ability to search the Airtable database of houses that we have, which will come in handy. So when clients ask, hey, do you have a 4-bedroom house, 3-bedroom house, or what other thing they want to filter by, they'll be able to use a query into the Airtable database as well. I've also added a knowledge base as well that I've connected it to. And the reason why I've done that is because I just wanted to give it the ability to search the houses by a different means, not necessarily by a parameter like houses or number of bedrooms, but more so it can search by the descriptions of the houses as well. And this is in case a client asks for a house based on a particular description, it can try and match up that description with whatever house matches that description best. So it could be like a certain style of house. Maybe if there's a certain style of interior that a client is asked after, that kind of thing as well. Beneath that, we have a few sub-agents that it will be managing. So first on the left, we have the voice agent. And the voice agent will essentially be, you could think of it as a call booker or more appointment checker. So what this will do is when there is a viewing appointment booked in the calendar, a few hours or I think a day before that I've set it to, it's actually going to call the particular client and just check if they are still able to book. It also has the ability to rebook a meeting if they say they're not available. It also has the ability to change the time as well. So if it calls in and they say, hey, are you still available for your viewing tomorrow at 2 p.m? And they say, no, I'm not, then it's able to suggest a few times as well. And it's able to do that because it can retrieve all of the calendar events before the call. So the way it works is before the call comes up, it retrieves all of the calendar events so it knows where the events are, and then it's able to call in. Once it calls in, then it has a conversation with the person and it's able to suggest some new times as well. And that is connected to VAPI. So that is what I'm using for the voice agent. And then, yeah, we've already discussed rebooking appointments. In the middle, we have a social media manager, and the social media manager also has a couple agents underneath it. And what this will allow it to do is essentially it can help the real estate agent create some posts for social media for these particular houses as well. And this is a multi-agent setup. So we have the social media manager at the top, and then there's one underneath for Twitter and Instagram as well. Then on the right, we have the house appointment booker. And what this will do is this will essentially help the real estate manager to book those initial viewings as well. So it has the ability to retrieve calendar events, check availability, and also book viewings in the calendar as well. And over in this on the side, so I haven't included this in the mix because it's just a workflow in make.com, is I have a flow that will help the real estate agency essentially manage their contracts and documents once they are signed. So the way it works is once it's signed in DocuSign, that gets sent over to Google Drive, it gets put in a folder, and then we can also trigger some emails, like some welcome emails or next steps based on them kind of signing the contract as well. Okay, so that was a full plan of the kind of AI agent setup. So now let's have a look under the hood and I'll show you how it all works. So firstly, the first kind of best place to start off would be the Airtable database. And I've just set up this example Airtable database, obviously because I can't show you the actual information of the agency. But what we can see here is I've just got a few homes that I've set up. I just created these IDs here, and it's just storing a bunch of information about these homes. So we have things like the photos, house description, the address, etc., price. We can see the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, total rooms, etc. So it's just got all of the information about each of these houses here. And then I've also added a link where each of these houses' profiles would exist online. So this is Rightmove. So if you're in the UK, you're probably quite familiar with Rightmove. If you're in America, this is the equivalent of Zillow, for example, in the UK. But you could also use this for your own website as well. So if you host your houses on your own website, you can also put those links in there so that when the AI agent does send those emails, it's going to include the links to your website instead of Zillow as well. Okay, so now let's look at one flow I created earlier. So the way the AI agents get triggered is they get triggered via email. They could also get triggered by a form completed. So I know a lot of real estate agents will just have like the houses on their website and maybe like a sign up form to show your interest. And then that would automatically populate on what house they wanted, and then that would go to the AI agent, which is fine. Or you could also trigger it just by emailing the particular agent as well. So I've just assigned this to a particular email, and then it's able to work with it from there. So if we look at this example on top, we can see the first thing, I don't know if I've just asked it, is if there's any 3-bedroom houses at the moment. From there, when we scroll down, we can see the first 2 tasks that it's gone into. The first one being the Airtable database query. So it's just having a look in the Airtable to see if there's any 3-bedroom houses, and we can have a look at what it's done there. So there's a conversation ID, and then we could see the query here for 3-bedroom houses, and then below it's returned a few of those rows that match that description of having 3 bedrooms right here. And then because it's found those houses, it's then responded with an email, which we could see here. So it's responded with the email address, hi Bartsy, and then it's just given a few examples that we can see here. So it's given the address, the cost, and it's also asked me to check it out at the link here as well. And I've also asked it to just sign off as James P, just to act like it's one of my employees at my fake real estate agency as well. And then beneath that, we could see it's just given me kind of an update of what it's done so far and the houses that has been sent. And then I replied saying, hi there, can I get a booking for April 12th? And then from there, we could see the next steps that it's taken. So let's see what we have here. So it's taken a next step, which is to send an email. And then in this email, let's have a look. It said it's happy to arrange a viewing. And then it's gone on to ask me a few questions. So it's asked me which property I would like to view, because I wasn't very specific. I just said I want a viewing. It's asked me for a time as well. And it's also asked me for a phone number. And the reason why it's asked me for that phone number is just for that later confirmation as well. And then when we scroll down, we could see the update that it's currently sent me right here. So it's just giving me an update of everything it's done. Then when we scroll down, I've replied with the house that I'm interested in, the time, and my phone number as well. And then when we scroll down further, now we could see based on that information, it's taken a few more steps. So it's decided to update the CRM with my details, and it's also delegated some work to the calendar coordinator to book a meeting in as well. So you can see where it's talking to the other AI agent. Please schedule a viewing for this house. Here are the details. Please create a calendar invitation and send to the client. And then it's done all of those things as well. And I can get up my calendar for you just so I can show you the event. Yeah, so here's the event that it's created right here as well. And you can see it's just invited the client as well. Okay, so we'll just go back into here. Then the other, let's check if I'm not missing anything. And then from there, when the real estate manager has given the work to the client coordinator, what it's done is it's checked the availability with that time, and because it was available in my calendar, it's gone ahead and created that meeting within Google Calendar as well. And we can see those two tools that it's used here. Next, it's also delegated to the voice AI agent. And what it's done to the voice AI agent is it's asked it to please schedule a confirmation call for this particular appointment. And it's asked it to specifically call the day before the viewing to confirm their attendance as well. So it's done those things there. And then from there, what the voice AI agent will do is it's just I framed it as booked a meeting, but really it's just put it in the calendar so that it knows when that calendar event hits, it knows to send just call as a reminder for that particular meeting as well. And that's just to check that I'm still attending. And then the last thing it's done is it's just sent an email back to the customer confirming that appointment there as well. So it said, I've scheduled your viewing. You should be able to receive the calendar information, sent all the details, and yeah, our agent will meet you at the property as well. So it sent all of that. So that's been confirmed and that has been completely automated. And then lastly, it's just given a nice summary of everything that it's done from there as well. Okay, so now you've seen a run through of how it works. Let me show you what it looks like under the hood. So we'll start off with the real estate manager agent. So I have armed this particular agent with 4 tools. So we have the Airtable Database query tool. And this is the tool that will allow the agent to search through the Airtable database. And this is also connected to make.com through a webhook. So what we're seeing here is I've labeled the tool appropriately. If you've watched a couple of my videos, I do emphasize always making sure to label your tools just so your AI agents know exactly how and when to use them as well. Here we can see the list of all of the potential fields within Airtable. So I've put that there on purpose just so it has a clear idea of what it's working with in regards to Airtable. And then when we scroll down further, we could see some of the inputs here. So we have a conversation ID, which I probably don't need at the moment. That was just from another experiment I was trying out, but we definitely don't need that. But what we do need is an initial property query. And this query is essentially what the customer is asking for. So if it was a 3-bedroom house, the AI agent would just type in 3-bedroom house here as well. Then the next step is an LLM step. And what this will do is this will help us to create the formula for Airtable that will bring back the correct results. So I've set an objective here. I've also given it a list of instructions. And what I've done for this is allowed for some leeway. So for example, if a customer comes in asking for a 3-bedroom house, it may also find some recommendations for maybe a 4-bedroom house as well. If a customer comes in asking for maybe a house of a specific price, it's going to give more of a price range than looking for houses for that exact price. So it's going to go 15% below and 15% above as well. Then beneath that, we could see all the fields that I have included in this section right here. So these are fields just from our Airtable database. And then beneath that, I've also given it an example just to make things a little bit easier. And once that has been done, then the next step is to connect it to Airtable for that search. Now, Relevance AI doesn't have a direct integration with Airtable. So what you will need to do is use a tool like make.com. And I've just done this with a webhook. So I have the webhook URL here. And then below we have the URL parameters that we need to set up as well. And we don't need this one. So I'll show you what that looks like in Airtable, and I'll show you how to do that now as well. So this is what the Airtable step looks like. And the first module you'll want to set up is this webhook module here. And you just want to copy and paste the webhook URL just right here. And then beneath that, now we want to pass on the formula that the LLM has created into make.com. And to do that, we just set that up as a parameter. So we can see formula right here. And then I've just entered the variable right here. So just for the LLM. And then once that has been done, this request will go into one of these flows right here. So I have one where we are sorting, where there is a specification implied and it is using a formula, and another one where it isn't as well. So if we look at the one where it is searching, so we could see I've selected my database here along with the correct table. And in here, this is the formula that was created in the previous step by Relevance AI. Then from here, I've used an array aggregator just to get all of those rows together in one bunch. And then after that, I've just sent a webhook response here as well. And this webhook response will just ping that data back to the AI agent. So then it's able to answer and give recommendations on the 3-bedroom houses that this customer was looking for. Beneath that, it's the same flow, only this one is just without the filtering. So if they just ask for houses in general or they don't really have a preference, I've also put that option here as well. Okay. Ooh. Now we also have the real estate knowledge base, so I'll just show you how that works, what that looks like as well. And for this one is really simple. So I just have a knowledge base that I set up within Relevance AI, and then what this tool does is just simply search for that knowledge base as well. What we could see here is firstly the input. So this is just the general input, probably what the client has specified they are looking for in regards to a house. And then beneath that, knowledge search. Okay, so we do. So I think I may have actually added this by accident potentially. So we'll just ignore this one. But this one right here is a simple knowledge search, and I've done it based by vector as well. And that will just allow to search with context on the words rather than just looking for specific attributes or filtering out by a specific word as well. It's more kind of understanding what the words mean and then looking for something that matches in the database as well. And that is really easy. These are just, the inputs are just simply text inputs and nothing fancy. And then if you're looking to make the knowledge search step, you would just click on this and then type in knowledge here as well. And it's not loading right now, probably because my computer is a little slow. Okay. So yeah, you just select knowledge search and then that would be done here as well. Next, we have the send Gmail tool, which will allow the agent to actually send an email as well. And that is a really simple tool. Relevance AI does have an integration with Gmail and Outlook, so you have your choice there. But if we have a look at this particular tool, we can see the inputs, which are the first name, recipient first name that I've entered here, the email body, the subject line, address. Now, these last two are interesting because I've added them because they just allow you to keep your emails within the same thread, particularly for Gmail. So this one is just Gmail thread ID, and it will enter here. And then we have the message ID down here as well. And then when we expand, what you want to do for this part is you just want to select the Gmail, one of the Gmail steps here. So you can see send Gmail email here. And then once you've selected that, then you want to connect your account if it's your first time, or just select one of the previous ones you've used. And then down here, what you want to do is you just want to enter some of those variables from the upper steps. So we have the email address, the subject line, and the email body as well. Okay. And then the last tool for the manager is the Hubspot. Is just updating the Hubspot leads, which is also done within make.com and as well. So if we have a look at that. And at the top, we could see some of those inputs here. So things like the email, date and time in Unix stamp code. And this is because I found that that's the way HubSpot reads it in API format with the Unix timestamp as well. Then we have the name and the phone number. So these are just attributes in my HubSpot CRM. And then from here, we have another API step, which is really just a webhook step. Make sure it's set to post, create your webhook in make.com and get the URL here. And I will show you what that automation looks like. So we have the webhook here. So this is the same URL that I've created and just put that in here. And then when we scroll down, then we need to add the parameters that are going to be sent over as well. So firstly is obviously the email, and on the left is where you name your parameters, and then on the right is where you select the actual variables as well. And you could do that just by typing in the curly brackets twice. Okay, so once that has been done, then we could have a look at, so yeah, this is the rest of the make.com automation. So we can see the webhook here. The next step is to create or update a contact. So either or, if it's a new contact, it's going to create one. If it's a existing one, then it's just probably going to update with the date and time of the appointment. And then lastly, I just added a response so it knows it's been complete as well. And then we can see how I've mapped these here. So we have email, appointment time, phone number, and name. And these are the parameters that have been passed over from Relevance AI. Okay, so that is the real estate agent. So now let's look at some of the sub-agents. So we'll start off, I'm actually going to start off with the voice agent first. And with the voice agent, that is it's pretty simple. I'm probably going to have a more detailed tutorial coming up on voice agents. But the way this works is I've set it up with 4 tools here. I probably could have done 3, to be honest with you, because I have 1 to check availability, 1 to just retrieve the events from Google Calendar, another to book a meeting, and then a fourth to call and confirm or renegotiate the time as well. So let's have a look at the renegotiation of the time. And then what you want to do here, if we're going to build, so first we could see the input, so list of available times, which it would have got from the other tool that it's been blessed with. And then here we could see things like the phone number, name, date, appointment time, and property address. So these are details that would have been passed on to this agent from the manager agent. And then when we scroll here, we can see the prompt for the actual call as well. So I've just said it's an agent from the Sharon Debbie Real Estate Agency. And then beneath here, we could see the main prompt that I've set up here as well. Okay. So that is the calling agent. And now if we have a look at the other agents, I can show you. The calendar coordinator is fairly simple. So first we could see the core instructions here. And the core instructions, I always start off with just giving it some directive, its objective, and what its particular role in. Next, we could see the 3 tools that I've armed this AI agent with. So firstly, the ability to retrieve events from Google Calendar. Secondly, to check availability. And then thirdly, it's also got the ability to actually book a meeting in Google Calendar for a time that suits both the client and the agency as well. And then beneath that, we could see some of the core instructions here, along with the approach. And these are the 3 tools here as well. So let's look at the book a meeting tool, because that's probably the most interesting. And with this tool, so first, again, we start off with the inputs. And if you've been watching the video, if you're this far into the video, you will notice pretty much all of them have been text inputs. Sometimes I do use these other ones as well, but text inputs are pretty easy. Yeah, sometimes you can use options depending if you want different workflows and stuff. So you could also do that. But the inputs are the event title, and then I've just added this label here so it knows how to use this field. And then I've done that for the others, like the event description, the start time using ISO format, just because that's what it can read. And then we also lastly have the attendee's email that he wants to send that to as well. And then lastly, what we have here is you would just select your Google Calendar that you want to be used for this purpose. So if you haven't connected one, you'll just need to click on add account, or you can use one of your previous calendars as well. And to find this particular step, because Relevance AI does have a direct integration with Google Calendar, you just click on this plus button and then search our calendar here as well. Yep, and then once you've searched that up, yeah, you can see create a Google Calendar event. And then from there, all I've done here is just thread loads of those variables into these fields here as well. And that one is pretty simple. So we've gone through the calendar coordinator, the Venus voice. All right, and then we'll also what we can see here, we can also see this email organizer. Initially, I had the idea to have a separate agent for the emails, but then I realized it wasn't really necessary. So I ended up just giving the manager agent an email tool. So we don't need to look at this, but for the social media manager agent, we can definitely take a look at that. And I probably won't go into it too much in depth, but if you want a full view of how to build your own social media AI agent, I have a much more detailed video that I can link in the description. But the way this works is essentially we have the social media manager at the top who oversees all of the content. And then it's got 3 sub agents here. So we have the Instagram AI agent, we have the Twitter post creator, and also LinkedIn post creator as well. So there's these 3 here, and then these 3 individual agents would also have their own tools. So if we looked at the LinkedIn one, for example, let's look here. Okay, so we have a LinkedIn post tool here. So I believe this one was for writing LinkedIn posts, but what I wanted to show you was something else. Okay, yeah, we'll have a look at the Instagram one. Okay, we'll have a look at that. Yeah, so this one just has the one tool right here. Okay, maybe this one isn't the best example. Hang on. Alright, I need to cut out that previous bit. Okay, so this one is the Twitter AI agent. Very specific. I think it just has one tool, and that's just to create a Twitter post. And then when we look into that, what we will see is we'll actually see the inputs here. So the main idea for the post, the objective, the hashtags. Then I've just created an LLM step so it can, it can create that post. And then once the post has been created, then it goes back to the manager AI agent. So I'll show you that now. So it goes to the manager AI agent, and the manager AI agent is actually able to create that social media post after checking it. And what I did here is, again, this is another webhook step where I've sent the information to a webhook down here. We also have all of the inputs, so the social media posts, the platform we're posting to, and then when we scroll down, this is sent to a webhook in make.com, which there is then connected to Buffer, and Buffer can schedule that post as well. Okay, so that was, but if you want a kind of more in-depth view of the social media agent, again, just check out the video in my description, and I've got a much longer detailed view of how to build that as well. So if I was going to improve this even further, there are a few ways I would look at doing that. So one would be, we could also incorporate some lead research, which could be quite interesting. Finding new leads for these houses, along with researching the people who are viewing the bookings as well, so we can get further context on them. Another thing I would potentially incorporate is research on different real estate markets and areas. That could also be something quite useful as well. But that is pretty much the full build. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that has given you a few ideas. Before we actually end it, I've got one more automation to show you, and that is a flow that just manages all of the documents as well. So that is in make.com. So we could see when an envelope is completed, so really when a document is signed, it just downloads the document here. And then what it does is it creates a new Google Drive folder, uploads the file, and then we send an email as well to that particular customer, just saying, hey, something like, hey, thank you for signing. And then it gives them a next few steps to help with their onboarding as well. So now that was the end of the tutorial. If you're looking for more, I would definitely recommend the social media AI agents, which I'll put as a recommended for you. I do also have a few other tutorials you can check out, and I hope that has given you a few ideas into what AI agents can achieve as well. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and thanks for watching.